The time of patience runs out. God's judgment is not empty, but an inevitable reality. The world remains asleep in its arrogance, believing that the Creator will not intervene. But history has already proven otherwise. Noah's flood, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, the captivity of Israel, each event was an echo of divine judgment. Today, we live under the same illusion. We believe we are untouchable, that the time of justice will never come. But when God speaks, who can silence him? The prophets warned, but they were ignored. Jeremiah wept for Jerusalem before it was consumed by fire. Daniel foresaw the fall of empires. John saw the final judgment in Patmos. Yet humanity persists in its blindness. Each day, the cup of God's wrath fills a little more. Nations continue conspiring. Rulers craft their own laws as if they could legislate over the Creator himself. Science, given by God as a tool of discovery, is now used to deny his existence. Religion is corrupted, preaching a diluted gospel, without repentance, without holiness, without the cross. But what will happen when God's voice echoes across the earth again? Who will be ready for the day of the Lord? The wrath that accumulates since Eden, man's rebellion has dug a chasm between creature and Creator. Paul wrote, "The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people, who suppress the truth by their wickedness." Romans 1:18. This judgment is not divine caprice, but a just response to humanity's mockery of his holiness. What do we see today? Corruption, perversion, blasphemy, modern idolatry disguised as culture. Man places himself at the center of the universe, denying God, mocking his commandments. Good is called evil, and evil is celebrated as progress. But God will not be mocked. His justice may seem delayed in human eyes, but it never fails. God's patience is not permissiveness. He does not ignore sin. Every lie, every injustice, every act of rebellion is recorded. The psalmist declares, "In due time their foot will slip." Deuteronomy 32, verse 35. The time of harvest will come. Whoever sows iniquity will reap a storm. Past judgments, present warning. The flood was not a children's myth meant to scare little ones. It happened. Humanity, given over to evil, was wiped from the earth. Only Noah and his family were spared. Why? Because God always rescues a faithful remnant. Sodom and Gomorrah burned with fire and brimstone. Not by chance, but because of their boundless depravity. Abraham interceded, but not even 10 righteous people were found. God is merciful, but he is also just. Egypt suffered plague after plague because it hardened itself against the Most High. Not even Pharaoh, with all his power, could resist the mighty arm of the Lord. The seas opened for Israel and closed upon the oppressors. Who can challenge God and remain standing? And now, the world follows the same path. If God judged the nations before, why would it be any different now? Each generation thinks it is safe, that it can defy God without consequences. But the flood came, the fire fell, the empire crumbled. The question is, what will be the next great judgment? The end times, judgment and redemption. Jesus warned about the signs of the end: wars, famines, plagues, religious deception. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. Matthew 24:21. Do we see this happening? The world system is moving toward a single government, a single currency, absolute control over the population. Those who reject the truth are given over to a spirit of deception. The nations conspire against God, but he laughs at their rebellion. But there is hope. The same God who judges is the God who saves. Noah found grace. Lot was rescued. Israel crossed the sea. The righteous are not forgotten. There will be tribulation, but there will also be deliverance. The bride of Christ will not be abandoned. He promised, "And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." Matthew 28:20. The last opportunity today is a time for repentance. Judgment has not yet fallen in its entirety, but the storm is already forming on the horizon. Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. God calls to the sinner, "Turn to me and be saved, all you ends of the earth, for I am God and there is no other." Isaiah 45 verse 22. The question is, where will you be when judgment begins? Among the mockers or among the remnant? The choice is yours, but the consequences are eternal. There is no more time for indecision. Today is the day of salvation. Come with us on this journey to share the word of the Lord. Subscribe and help us spread the truth. This is extremely important for the channel. May the peace of God be with you.